Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Really appreciate everybody that's here on the call live today. Today is a holiday in Utah, or in America, it's President's Day. And we have somebody on the call today from Canada, and he said it's Family Day in Canada. So holidays all around. Happy holidays, whatever the holiday is for you today. I think it's fun when a holiday kind of interrupts a pattern. In Canada, apparently gyms aren't open on Family Day, and so our participant from Canada had to do something a little bit different and choose to go for a walk or a run instead of going to the gym. So those are kind of fun. Holidays are fun to interrupt patterns like that for us. And you know what? I think I'm going to change what we're going to be focusing on today. I had something written down and something else just came to me. Give me just one moment. Okay. All right, we're going to do our 90-second meditation in just a moment on gratitude for creative change. And I just want to share with you what one of our participants shared, about having to change and do something different in his morning schedule because the gym wasn't open. My husband and I have been watching on Hulu a show called Alone. I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but it's really good. It's about, they drop off 10 guys up in Canada and on an island out there, and in 10 different places, so they're like miles apart, so they can't work together. They're completely alone, and they get to take 10 things into their wilderness with them and survive, and the last man standing gets $500,000. And they have a cell phone, a satellite phone, so they can tap out. They call it tapping out at any time if they feel like they're done. And so the last one out there gets $500,000. And we've been watching this for quite some time, and it's 4 guys left. 6 of them have gone home. And the thought that I had yesterday, Sunday, actually, while I was at church, and I don't want to give the show away if you haven't seen it and you're going to, so this is not a spoiler alert or anything, but what I've noticed with each of the guys that have tapped out is I'm just like, so great. God is so good, because with several of them, they have everything that they need. They have water, they have food, they have shelter, they have, a sustainable livelihood where they've created that for themselves. And then something happens. One thing happens that changes it all. And the thought that I had yesterday in church was that God is so good because he gives us everything that he needs. He helps us get to a place. There's like all these tender mercies that happen so that we are sustainable, and then something happens. And sort of like, I was talking about a holiday or a vacation or something like that is a pattern interrupt. Same thing, that when we feel like we're kind of in this comfort zone, that something happens. And it's like, hey, are you going to tap out, or are you going to get creative? And that is what I want to focus on today, is gratitude for creative change. So I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds, and we're going to just have a silent private meditation and see what comes up. So gratitude for creative change, 90-second private meditation, just listening for your own personal inspiration, writing that down. Begin. right. Okay. I had some really cool thoughts. Animals never get above survival. They get their food day to day or they starve. There's a quote that says, God feeds the birds, but he doesn't throw it in the nests. And they have to, whether it's cold, whether they're sick, whether whatever, they have to go out and find their food every day or they don't get to eat. Animals are driven by instinct. When I was in, I think it was Costa Rica, we went to not a museum, but it was sort of like I don't know, it was like a natural habitat place, where they had like lots of different pictures of the species of animals in that area. And they had examples of like bird nests. And there was this one that was sort of like a big, huge sling. It was very long, probably about 3 feet long. And it just had this long, skinny thing that was holding it to a branch. And then the bottom was like this bowl that the bird can go in and out. And they knew what kind of bird had created that. And I thought about, that birds and animals are driven by instinct, and they build their nests and their dens or whatever the same way. And so if a biologist comes, or a zoologist or whatever they call them, comes upon a bird nest, they're like, oh, that is a whatever, and they can identify what bird built that. And I realized that if the materials for that particular bird nest don't exist in the area, they don't have the ability to creatively change. Oh, well, we'll just use sticks instead. They move. They go to a different place where those materials actually do exist. Whereas, you think about humans and all the different kinds of homes that there are. Some people live in tents. Some people live in a roundhouse. Some people live in a mansion. Some people live in a cardboard box. There's like a billion different types of homes that people could live in, and they're adaptable to change. So that's what I am really feeling, is that, animals survive and humans are able to adapt and change, be creative and adapt to change. Who else has something they'd like to share?
Just real quick, I just had I didn't have a whole lot, but the word fun came to me in thinking about creative change. And then I had a picture of like receiving a grab bag and not knowing what's inside, and opening it and just finding out what I get to create, what I can create from what's inside.
Thank you. That's really fun. I have my family, there's several of us in our family that love to cook. And for one of our family reunions, we did a chopped competition where my sister-in-law had created, put ingredients together and put a cloth over it. And we just got to open it. She said, okay, go. And we moved the cloth and we saw what the ingredients are. And we got 20 minutes to create something out of it. And super fun, super stressful, but also super fun to see what we all got to create. And we all did something different, which was really fun. Thank you. Who else?
I can share a little bit more with my morning. So this morning I got up, and I haven't tried meditation for a while, so I managed to get up and I got to try a good solid 9 minutes in this morning of meditation. And
Nice.
It's something that is breathing, just kind of, it's really good for you to try and just bring you back and just not think of anything, or just try and not focus on all your outside thoughts. But it's it's just still, for someone who's just a beginner at meditation, it's still just small incremental building on each minutes of every day. When I know people who are really good at meditation, they can meditate for a way longer period, and it's just easier for them. So
Awesome.
Just small steps towards those directions.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love that you're open to doing something different with your morning, and just trying that out and see what you get to learn from that. Beautiful. Thank you. Who else?
Well, I thought of when I'm going to, for me, I'm breaking down walls, and that's what's in my life right now, just breaking down walls. And so there's a creative way to do that. There's change happening from breaking down the walls.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be, and I have to be intentional and think of how or ways to do it. So there's the why and the what are there, and then I just start in. I go by feeling. It's intentional, but there's also, and I have to think of how to do it. But I'm just doing it, not really. There's thought put into it, but it's also by just taking action, finding out, but by intuition,
Mm-hmm.
finding out what my next step is in breaking down those walls. And there's a creative change. It's just, I see creative change in that wall, how to, where am I going to start? And I'm excited because it is a creative change. I'm not articulating this like I wanted to, but
I love what
anyway,
you're saying.
that's what I have.
Awesome. I love what you're saying. And as you were talking about breaking down those walls and creative change, I thought of a sculptor that has a block of marble or a block of clay, and has something in mind of what they want to create. And they have to scoop away the clay or chip away at the marble to reveal the masterpiece inside. I think it was Michelangelo that somebody asked him, how do you see that masterpiece inside of, or how do you create such a beautiful masterpiece? And he says, well, I start with a block of marble and then I just chip away what doesn't belong, basically, and just reveal what's already inside. He saw it as something that already existed inside, and he was just chipping away the pieces that didn't fit.
Thank you. That is well said. Yep, that's how it is.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mary. Any other thoughts before we shift over to our permission process?
I'll share.
Okay, thanks, Rachel.
The first thoughts and here comes my children. The first thoughts that came to me was I feel stuck and frustrated in my current situation. But the thought of being creative will help make those changes. So I thought of different ways I could be creative with my children and stuff like that, and being present in the moment I'm in.
Beautiful. Thank you. It's a really awesome opportunity that you have to have your children present. My husband and I are getting to be empty nesters, and there's a whole new set of concerns that come up when you don't have the power to pick them up and set them somewhere. So it's really an awesome opportunity that you have. And what a beautiful time. Like, I think it was Tammy that mentioned about fun. What a beautiful time that you have to create fun as you're creating, as you're being creative in your change. Thanks, Rachel. Any other thoughts?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and shift over to our permission process. This has been a really great discussion, really opened up some ideas. I've got a smile on my face. I just feel super excited to get to be open to creative change. What do I get to learn today? What is the creative change that is going to be my own personal inspiration of ways that I get to change? And knowing that any inspiration that I receive is always going to take me to someplace good. All inspiration comes from a light source, and it always takes us to someplace better, creates opportunities for growth. And sometimes we're in a place where it's good to just sit and be and continue along the same path and be content with what is. And then at some point, that's not enough, and it's time for some creative change to create some growth. So wherever you're at, just be open to whatever comes to you today. Go ahead and take a deep breath. And I know each of us has one particular area in our lives that is maybe in the forefront of our consciousness right now. And just check in, is this the area, the one that I've been focusing on, maybe the thing that I've been worried about the most? Is this the most important thing for me to be focusing on? Or is there something else that intuitively I can set that one thing aside and be open to learning something about a new area, a different area? And just trust whatever comes to you as the one most important area for you to focus on today. Just trust that that is perfect. And if it's not the thing you thought, it doesn't mean it's gone or not important. It just means it's, set it aside, put it up on a shelf for just a moment and focus on this other thing that is more important. So whatever the most important thing for you to put creative change, the energy of creative change into, just be open to know what area that is. All right, and as you're focusing on this area, I invite you to allow your imagination to take you forward in time to, if creative change can happen, what is possible in this particular area? Because at this point, if you haven't made those creative changes, anything is possible. Making one change creates an outcome. Making a different change creates a different outcome. So at this point, everything is on the table. Everything is available to you. Everything is possible. So just allow your imagination and your intuition to take you forward, days, weeks, months, whatever, depending on what it is that you're focusing on. And what is the outcome? What is the outcome if you allow creative change in your life today? What is the outcome that you desire? What is the outcome that you see? Allowing intuition to guide you and see that vision in full color, bringing emotion into it. What are the emotions that you're feeling? Who are the people that this affects? What are maybe some of the things that you're hearing, whether that be words of affirmation, whether it be words of gratitude, just maybe there's an audience that is applauding you, whatever it is. Just allow yourself to go forward in imagination and use all of your senses to feel the emotion, to sense what you feel, what you hear, what you smell, what you touch, what you see. Use all of your senses to establish that vision as a solid, concrete anchor that you can return to at any time and remember what it is that where it is that you are going. And write down some descriptive words, draw pictures, whatever you need to do to create that solid picture, that solid vision that really anchors your memory, creates a memory, muscle memory of where you're going. And then once you've got that anchor created, I invite you to allow yourself to float up above your timeline and back to today, Monday, February 17th. And what is the one most important thing that you did? What was the creative change that you made today that allowed this outcome to be possible? That not only was it possible, that it was inevitable, that it became a solid anchor, a solid physical thing that you were moving towards. What is the one most important thing for you to do today to set your foot on that path of arriving at that physical outcome that you just experienced? Take one more deep breath. And with this inspired shortcut, many times a limiting belief will show up. So I invite you to be open to know, what is the limiting belief that would stop you from taking action on that inspired shortcut? And as you're becoming more clear with what that limiting belief is, I invite you to, again, on that timeline, project yourself forward using this time the limiting belief as your catalyst. And where does that take you? What outcome does this limiting belief produce for you? What is the cost of having this limiting belief? And if you don't like that, if you're unwilling to go that road because you already have this other vision that is more enticing, something else that you desire more, I invite you to give yourself permission to choose a new belief. And if you're ready to do that, say yes.
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 Awesome. So what are the new beliefs? What are the new beliefs that are going to take the place of that old limiting belief? So it just totally, the limiting belief is completely gone. And that the new beliefs will actually take you toward this other outcome that you envisioned, this physical, tangible outcome that you know is inevitable. What new beliefs are going to support you in creating that outcome? All right. So we have your inspired shortcut. We've got your new beliefs. We have your vision solidly in place. And I'm just going to ask one last question. Why do you want this? Why is this vision important to you? Why is it important to you? And in a moment, I'm going to open it up to some shares. I want to just invite anyone who is feeling like they need a little bit of extra support in this area to reach out to me. You just have to go to askwylene.com, and that takes you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call with me. Askwylene.com. It's a free call. Would love to have that conversation with you. To help you maybe see a slightly different perspective, or maybe help you anchor in that end result that you're wanting a little bit more, or help you through some of these limiting beliefs that might be coming up. Or even if you're struggling with taking your inspired shortcut, reach out to me and let's talk about it. For me, the inspired shortcut that I received is, and of course I need to get my daughter's sanction on this, but my inspired shortcut was to change rooms with her. My youngest daughter moved out, and so I've got a room that I was going to turn into a sewing room, and it's slightly bigger than my middle daughter's room, who still lives with us. And the thought that I had was to offer to give her the bigger room. And I kind of have an idea of where that's leading. I don't know for sure, but it definitely is it would definitely be a creative change. And my limiting belief that came up for me is I have a solid schedule today. Like my first call, I think, is at 9, and we've got a family party to celebrate together as a family on this holiday today, this evening, starting at 5:30. And I'm like, when in the heck would I have time to do that? And so, but I'm definitely going to follow through with that. I'm at least going to ask her if, that would be something that she would like. That was really the inspiration that came to me, was to ask if she'd be willing to or would like to. But the strongest new belief that came to me that I'm using kind of as my mantra right now through some family difficulties that she's experiencing, some things that are happening in her life, not difficulties, just we're just having a little bit of, we're having to be creative in our change. She's having a creative change right now. The new belief that I have is I'm creating new memories through creative change. And I feel like there are some painful memories in that bedroom that she has right now. And I'm thinking that maybe changing the room will kind of shift that energy a little bit. Anyway, that's my conscious thought. I don't know for sure if that's why we're doing it, but it makes sense. And it's something I wouldn't have thought of. So really grateful for that. Anybody else like to share their thoughts from today?
I will. I really appreciated the vision that came to me as I was doing this. I saw the timeline that came was like about 6 months down the road, and I saw myself standing in what looked like an airport. I was, traveling somewhere, but I was standing tall. I was dressed like in nice business type clothing, and I was just smiling and happy and confident. And when you asked why that was important for me, the thing that came to me was that I am prepared and I have moved on to the next phase of my path in being in a position to help others. Mm-hmm. And I just really, really appreciated seeing that, and having the confidence and knowing that I'm prepared to move forward and start helping others.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. What a powerful vision. We are out of time. I'd love to have other people share, but I'm going to encourage you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and share there. Really love to hear about your vision that you're creating so we can celebrate with you and help keep you, solid on your path. And also any thoughts that you have, any new beliefs or whatever that you'd like to share, because all of that just helps to support. Whatever you share helps to encourage me to stay true to my path. Super grateful for everything that has been shared today, and for the ability that we are creatures who are able to adapt, who are able to create, to make creative change. It's just an innate ability that we have that just needs to be developed. I love what Leland was saying about, being new to meditation, but being willing to step into that space, because it's not easy for, when people first start to just sit still and set aside all of the thoughts and allow yourself to feel something different. And that's what creative change is all about, is just allowing yourself to set aside what was and to step into a new place to create something new and experience something completely different and grow from that experience. So love you guys. Appreciate you all being on the call today. And we'll look forward to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Wileen.
Thank you for being
here. Wileen.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.